I'd like to welcome everyone to the 2019 Jane Chance D.A.R.E Elementary graduation. Before we begin the ceremony, I'd like to introduce a student from the Miamisburg High School Bowl Club, Emily D.A.R.E. Emily would like to make a presentation to your principal, Mr. Guy.
Hi everybody, how are you? All right, so like Officer Doug said, my name is Emily, and I just recently graduated from Miamisburg High School. I just wanted to start off by saying congratulations on graduating from D.A.R.E. That's really awesome, you guys. I myself had the opportunity to go through D.A.R.E. when I was in 5th grade, and I was sitting exactly where you are. And I learned a lot, and I'm sure you guys did too. And all of the stuff that you learn is super important. It'll help you get through middle school and high school. It'll help you make good decisions. And along with all that information, it's really important to surround yourself with friends and other people that share your same values and passions. And that's gonna help you make good choices. And being in BOLD, it stands for Building Our Lives Drug-Free. And being in this club has allowed me to make friends, like I said, that share those passions, and also gives me adults that I can go and talk to if I have any questions or concerns. So we'd love to see you guys be a part of our club once you get to high school. That'd be really cool. And as a club, we wanted to donate this poster here, just as a reminder that we're Vikings and we're all gonna live our lives drug and alcohol free. And so yeah. Congrats again, guys, and good luck in middle school.
I always like to start off the ceremony by thanking the people that are most important for today, and that's the City of Miamisburg, the Miamisburg City Schools, and the Miamisburg Police Department, because without their support today would not be possible. I also like to thank all the parents and relatives who were able to join us today. I had a great time working with your kids. We had some fun. Hopefully they learned some things too. I'm very proud of them, and like I said, they were a great group. I also like to thank the 4th graders for coming today. I look forward to seeing you next year in 5th grade D.A.R.E. class. Some of the things we talked about in D.A.R.E., we talked about the dangers of alcohol and tobacco. We talked about how to make good decisions and how to handle peer pressure. We talked about bullying, how to be a good citizen. We also talked about being safe with over-the-counter prescription drugs. The goal for you students, though, is to use the information we talked about, especially as you get into high school and middle school and you encounter some difficult situations. Think back to some of the things we discussed in D.A.R.E. class. We have quite a few guests that have joined us today to celebrate your accomplishment. We have from the City of Miamisburg, your Mayor, Dick Church. From the Miamisburg Municipal Court, we have the Judge, Robert Reddick. From the Miamisburg Police Department, we have the Chief of Police, John Sedlak. From the Miamisburg City Schools, we have your Superintendent, Dr. David Vebb. From the Miamisburg City Council, we have Representative Mike McCabe. And of course, you all know your principal, Mr. Geyer. Some of our guests would like to say a few words, and we'll begin with Mayor Church.
Good morning, graduates and parents. And I wanted to congratulate you on graduating from the D.A.R.E. program. You know, it was 23 years ago that the mayor and the council told our city manager that we wanted to start a D.A.R.E. program in Miamisburg. And to me, it's one of the best opportunities that we have to work with the Miamisburg Board of Education, the court system, Miami Township. Thousands of youngsters have gone through the D.A.R.E. program in those 23 years. I want to acknowledge on the camera back there, Joe McKenzie from the Miami Valley Communications Council. That'll make him feel good, and maybe he'll run it maybe one or more times extra. But you'll be able to see this on cable channel 5, probably starting next week, and many, many times before the next Jane Chance graduation. You know, I say it every year, you're going to be challenged. One of these days, you're going to be challenged to do something that you know is wrong, something that Officer Doug has taught you not to do. I don't know when it'll be, but I guarantee you, you will be challenged by friends, maybe when you go to college, whenever. I just hope you say, no, I'm not going to do that. I know better. You should know better. You should tell that person that. And if it's a friend, you really ought to talk to them and try to convince them that they shouldn't be doing it either. But D.A.R.E is a great program. And as I said, it's the 23rd year for D.A.R.E. Now we're going to do something a little bit different today. We've done it this year. There's a lot of colds and allergies and everything going around. So at the end, when you come up and get your diploma, instead of shaking hands, we're going to fist bump today. That way you won't go home with a cold or what else, because we want you to enjoy your summer vacation. I told you it was 23 years, and you and I have something in common today. This is my final D.A.R.E graduation also. I'm graduating today after 23 years. I'm going to retire at the end of this year, and I just want to wish each and every one of you a great life. And remember, you can become anything you want to be. You have to do it. So it's up to you. You got a lot of support. Your parents, your teachers, the police department, your friends of the family. So take advantage of those people that want to help you, and have a great rest of your life. Thank you, and God bless you.
Next, we'll have Judge Redding.
Thanks, Officer Doug. First, I'm Robert Reddick. I'm the Miamisburg Municipal Court Judge. I've been doing that about 8 years now. I was a trial attorney before that for 33 years. I've been an attorney now for 40 years. Seems like forever, but it's gone by in the wink of an eye. Before I do anything else, I want to thank your parents, your family for being here. You have no idea how important that is. It makes a huge difference. When I see people in court, the people with a support group, with a family that loves them and cares about them, it makes a huge difference. And I know it's not easy to come here and do this. You have other things to do, and I genuinely appreciate it. And I know your kids and grandkids and the people you're here for appreciate it too. I want to thank the mayor. Now, I think a lot of people take for granted how dedicated and hardworking. The mayor is in fact a diplomat for the entire Miamisburg area. He goes to everything. I go to a lot of things, but the mayor makes what I do look insignificant. He goes to I can count on one hand how many D.A.R.E graduations he's missed in the 8 years I've been doing this. He takes this very, very seriously, and him taking it seriously makes a difference, and it adds value. And I want to make that clear, how much I appreciate it, and I think all the people of Miamisburg and around here appreciate it too. He's going to be sorely missed. We're going to have a new mayor. Ms. Collins is going to be the mayor next year, but those are awfully big shoes to fill. Now, I like her, and I hope she'll do a good job, but gosh, it's going to be tough. I don't want to talk forever. There's a lot of speakers here, but you're going to get more and more freedom. You're growing up. When you were a little bitty child, your parents had to watch you all the time. You had constant supervision. Now you're graduating the 5th grade, you're going to go into middle school, and you're going to continue to grow up. And you're going to have less and less and less supervision. You're going to become what I call self-actualizing. That means you're going to take care of yourself. You're going to make more and more decisions. And with more personal freedom comes more personal responsibility. Now, I just left court. I had to have a young attorney, he's not that young, I had to have an attorney come and sub for me so I could come here today. But I had just arraigned people from the jail. And every time I asked that young man a question, whatever it was never his fault. It was always someone else's fault. He had assumed something. He had thought something. He actually once said, "I thought my mom paid that." And I said, my mother's deceased, but I said, she was a real angel, but she never paid my court fines. He just never took any personal responsibility. But that's the reason he's in jail right now, and that's why I'm talking to him by video. You have to own your mistakes. You have to try to make the right decisions. Now, I got back to, you're going to get more and more personal responsibility. You've learned the D.A.R.E decision-making model, haven't you all? Use it. Don't just say yes. The mayor said, you know, it used to be a model that I think Nancy Reagan and the Reagans developed, just say no. I know it sounds simplistic and stupid, but it works. When somebody's trying to get you to take that first puff off a cigarette, or maybe try marijuana, or just a little sip of beer, just say no. You don't have to start down that path because it can be a bad path. So don't start, don't take that first step. If you don't start that, look, I'm not trying to say that marijuana is a gateway drug, but I see heroin constantly. I see a lot of heroin addicts, and every single one of them, I've never seen one that didn't start with marijuana. So I've got the solution to the heroin epidemic. Don't do marijuana, and you won't ever do heroin. You've got to make good decisions. If you see a friend of yours, maybe somebody sitting to your left and right, that maybe hasn't had the good judgment that you do, that maybe started down that bad path, would you try to tell them to reconsider, to do the right thing? Now, I know you're going to be successful. If you just keep doing what you've been doing, you've got the tools and the gifts to have great lives, and I'm sure you will. And if you run into me, it won't be in court. It'll be at Kroger's or TJ Chumps or the movie theater, all right? Have a great summer and a great sixth grade. Congratulations.
Next, we have Chief Sedlak.
Good morning, D.A.R.E graduates. Oh, come on. That's a little better. Good morning, parents and grandparents, family members. Okay. D.A.R.E graduates, show of hands, how many enjoyed your D.A.R.E classes this year? Excellent, excellent. Surprise for you. For all of you who raised your hands, you get to stay one more week, a week longer in school to continue your D.A.R.E learning. Is that cool? Yeah, who wants to do that? Raise the hands. Oh, there's a lot fewer hands now. You know, I'm glad you enjoyed your D.A.R.E class, and I want to congratulate you on graduating today. That's a big deal. It's a good thing. And like you've heard from others, the graduation ceremony is not an end to something. It's the beginning, right? Now you have information that you didn't have before. That's what the graduation is about. It marks that you are more learned than you were at the beginning of the school year. You have this information among the other subjects that you learned. The important thing about information is it doesn't do you any good if you don't apply it. So when the time is right, and you'll know when it's right, we all have that little voice inside of us that says, hey, this is good, or that's bad, or maybe I should, or maybe I shouldn't. We all have that. So when you hear the little voice and it's inkling you and it's thinking, maybe I shouldn't do that, maybe I shouldn't do that. Utilize the information you learned that Officer Doug and your teachers, your parents, I know, probably daily, are teaching you so that you can avoid the bad choices. You can avoid the things you know are not right or are harmful to you or to somebody else, and be able to avoid that and continue on your path to a healthy and happy life. That's what we all want for you. And I also want to talk about, just for a moment, we talked about drugs and those types of things. I want to talk to you about cyberbullying. There's all sorts of bullying. More than likely, some of you have experienced it in one form or fashion or another. Cyberbullying is another element, though, because what it does, it allows the bully to bully you when they're not standing right in front of your face, right? It's hard to say something really bad to somebody when you're only a couple feet away from them and they're looking at you right to your face. You might do it, but I almost can guarantee you, if you're away from them and you're separated by that distance and you feel a certain sense of anonymity, you might say a lot worse things. And the other thing is that it's like crowdsourcing, right? It's like going viral. Once one person starts, other people jump in because it's easy. It's easy. They're not right in front of you. It's easier for them to do. And all of a sudden, you got a group of people bullying you. And it can be really, really torturous to the person being bullied. We don't want that for you. And I know that you were taught, if you're bullied, tell somebody responsible, right? Were you taught that? Tell your parents, tell your teacher, tell Officer Doug, tell your SRO, tell another police officer, whomever, a responsible adult. Because if you do, they'll end it for you. And generally, they'll be able to end it in just one day. So I want you never to keep that sort of thing to yourself. A lot of times kids do. They don't want to snitch, or they just feel bad about talking about it. You can't do that. The sooner you tell a responsible adult, the sooner it will stop, okay? Last thing I do want to point out, and I'm sorry I forget her name, but the recent high school graduate that was talking at the very beginning, she said something that's very, very important. And she talked about being or having friends with people who share your values. Of all the things you could learn, that is probably the most significant thing, is as long as you stay with friends that share the same ideas and values, if they're all good, you're going to be on the right track. It's when you get with, you hear parents sometimes talk about shady friends or something, that maybe they don't share the same values. They tend to get in trouble. That, in and of itself, if you hang with those kids, can lead you in the wrong direction, eventually, and we don't want that. So I really do think, of all the things you've heard so far today, the one thing, if you only did one thing, and that is hang with kids that share the good values that you have, that'll keep you going in the right direction almost all the time, okay? With that, I think today's the last day of school, is it? Yeah, okay. Have a great summer vacation, be healthy, and have fun, and enjoy 6th grade next year. Thank you.
And Dr. Will.
Good morning. It's certainly a pleasure for me to be here to help celebrate this completion of this wonderful program that we have to share. On behalf of the Board of Education, all the administrators and the staff, the entire school district, we want to congratulate you and wish you well as you move on in your life, in your school career and in your life. When they asked you how many people wanted to stay a little bit longer, another week, I saw some hands go up. I didn't see any hands from the teachers or the parents. They were kind of, I'm not so sure about that, but we certainly do that. You've got a great group of people here, and I certainly want to thank the city, the police department, the court system, the school system for this collaboration we have here. Officer Threckeld over there that also works with the police department, and Officer Rankins, she's the latest addition. She's our school resource officer from the township. So you see we've got a lot of things going on here, and we are so glad to have her on board. So she does the middle school, and Jane Chance and Maddox Lang, and been a great asset, and looking forward to many years with her. But the great collaboration between all these entities makes this a great place to be. Okay? Two things we do as a school district. Okay? We want to teach you, and we want to keep you safe. And we work every day on both those things. But before you got to school, you had a wonderful group of people that did the same thing. They taught you right from wrong. They taught you good and bad. They taught you to make the right decisions, and they kept you safe. And a lot of those people were in the back of the room. Some of them couldn't be here, your parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, older brothers and sisters, whomever. You had those wonderful role models for you. And then you came to school, and you've got a great group of teachers here. Officer Sherritts is one of our teachers. As far as we're concerned, he's a great member of our staff. He teaches you every day, and he wants to keep you safe. And as you move on in your career, you go to the middle school and high school, again, to teach you and to keep you safe. And we want to continue to do that. And as everyone talked about here, you're going to face some challenges. You're going to have some temptations. People are going to ask you to do some things that you know not to do. Do the right thing, use your D.A.R.E decision-making model, and seek out help. You're not in this alone. We're all in this together. The Miamisburg City Schools family. We're all here for one another. So continue to rely on one another. Use those things, make those decisions, question things, and do the right thing. We want the best for you. You have a great last day of school today. Have a great summer, and good luck in 6th grade. Thank you.
I'd like to take a moment to thank Mayor Church also, like the judge did. He kind of stole my thunder. Over the many years we've done this, it's been very few graduations the mayor has not been able to attend. In fact, for years he's been to every one. So I appreciate everything he's done for the D.A.R.E program, and I appreciate everything he's done for the city of Miamisburg. So let's give him a big hand. The last thing the students do in the D.A.R.E program is they write a D.A.R.E report. Not only do they have to write the report, but they have to present to their classmates. So we selected a few to share their reports today, and we'll begin with Isabella Dowd.
In D.A.R.E, I have learned many lessons this year, like how to be an upstander, deal with peer pressure, and much, much more. D.A.R.E stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education. I've learned to never consume alcohol, drugs, or tobacco. There have been many lessons I've learned in D.A.R.E. One major lesson I have learned is not to have alcohol at a young age. While people are young, their brain is still developing. If anyone has drugs or alcohol at a young age, it can severely damage the brain. I want my brain to stay healthy and intelligent. Another lesson I've learned is to always be an upstander. By being an upstander, anyone can tell bullies to stop bullying and help others. I can also be able to report any information about the bully to an adult. I do not want to be a bystander, just observing someone being bullied. One more of the many lessons I've learned is finding ways to solve conflicts. When helping someone make a good choice, it can have positive consequences on me or others. Those are some of the lessons I've learned in D.A.R.E this year. With D.A.R.E, I've found ways to solve problems. This is by using the D.A.R.E decision-making model. The D stands for define. This means I will need to describe what the conflict is to a parent, counselor, teacher, or just myself. The A stands for assess. This meaning I will need to find out all my options I have to solve the conflict. The R is for respond. I will need to make the choice based on the facts and information I've gathered about the conflict. Finally, the E is for evaluate. I must review the decision I made to see if it was the right choice. That is what the D.A.R.E decision-making model stands for. There are going to be different instances in my life where I need to use the D.A.R.E decision-making model. One instance is choosing a path to college and a career. It can be difficult choosing what to major in college. Since many different topics intrigue me, it can be hard deciding. Using the D.A.R.E decision-making model, I can decide what to major in. One other instance is noticing someone being bullied. By just watching them or being a bystander, I can't do anything. By using the D.A.R.E decision-making model, I can make the right choice by stepping in and helping the person being bullied. Those are some examples of how I can use the D.A.R.E decision-making model in everyday life. D.A.R.E has taught me so many valuable lessons this year. All of these lessons have been helpful to me. I now know to never have drugs, alcohol, or tobacco. I will always be an upstander and find ways to solve problems. I can now also deal with peer pressure when given an opportunity to have drugs, alcohol, and tobacco by just saying no and walking away. I'd like to give a special thank you to Officer Doug Schertz and the Miamisburg Police Department for giving up your time to teach me valuable lessons.
Thank you. Next, we have McKenna Blair.
During D.A.R.E, I learned a lot about how to be drug and alcohol free. What does D.A.R.E stand for? D.A.R.E stands for Define, Access, Respond, and Evaluate. Define means you need to describe the problem and challenge or opportunity. Assess means you need to see what your choices are. Report means you need to use the facts and information you have to make a choice, to make a good choice. Evaluate means review and decision and define if you made a good choice. I learned in D.A.R.E not to drink, smoke, or break the law. I will always follow all the D.A.R.E rules and make a good choice. This is my D.A.R.E essay. I hope you like it.
Next, we have Candy Landrum.
For the past couple of months, my class has been learning about D.A.R.E. D.A.R.E stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education. I was shocked when I heard about everything that happens to people when they are introduced to illegal items. In D.A.R.E class, I learned about alcohol, drugs, and peer pressure. Did you know if a person consumes alcohol under the age of 21, they could be sent to jail because they are under the illegal drinking age? The same thing could also happen if someone sees a person under the age of 18 doing drugs. And all of these bad decisions are usually caused by peer pressure. Peer pressure is such a powerful thing and it is used often. Peer pressure causes so many people to do so many illegal things, and an example would be drinking under the age of 21 or doing drugs under the age of 18. I know I will never do drugs or drink illegally. D.A.R.E can also be used as a decision-making model. D is for define. Define your problem. A is assess. What are my options here? R, respond. Use an option and respond to the problem, and E, evaluate. Did I make the right choice? With the decision-making model, I can almost always make sure I am making the right choice. Another part of D.A.R.E was the 5 W's. The 5 W's are who, what, when, where, and why. With the 5 W's, I can help if I see someone getting bullied. The first W is who is getting bullied. Then the first W is who is getting bullied. The second W is what exactly happened. The third W is when did it happen. Then the fourth W is where did the bullying start. And finally, the last W, do you know why it happened? Using the 5 W's, I can help others if they are getting bullied. In conclusion, D.A.R.E has taught me so much about what to do and when to do it, and how to take care of my body and health. And I learned all this because of one police officer who spent his work time to teach us, and that's Officer Doug.
Next, we have Sarah Nifley.
D.A.R.E stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education, which is exactly what we learned in D.A.R.E class. We've learned many major life lessons in D.A.R.E. One of these lessons was how to use the D.A.R.E decision-making model. If everyone went through D.A.R.E, some of our world problems could melt away. In D.A.R.E, we learned many important life lessons, such as not doing tobacco, alcohol, or bullying. Tobacco is a plant mixed with nicotine, a very addictive substance that is bad for one's health. Also, unless one is over the age of 18, it is illegal for them to have tobacco. Tobacco can cause yellow teeth, bad breath, heart failure, and brain damage. There are about 400,000 deaths in the U.S. per year caused by tobacco. Alcohol is a type of drink that is bad for one's health. It is illegal for anyone under the age of 21 to possess alcohol. Alcohol can cause slow reflexes, loss of coordination, and memory loss. Each year, there are about 75,000 deaths in the U.S. related to alcohol. Bullying is an aggressive or unwanted behavior used repetitively to control another person. Bullying can cause anger, frustration, embarrassment, and misery. To take care of bullying, one can tell an adult using the 5 W's. You must tell an adult who is being bullied, what happened, when it happened, and where it happened, and why it happened. I learned at D.A.R.E that I should not do tobacco, alcohol, or bullying. In D.A.R.E, we learned that we can use the D.A.R.E decision-making model to get ourselves out of dangerous situations. Unfortunately, at one point or another, we are all going to end up in a sticky situation. When placed in a disturbing situation, one must define the problem, assess the situation, respond and make a choice, and evaluate the choice they made. I need to remember these steps if I'm ever in a situation that I feel peer pressured to do anything wrong or dangerous. This model is a good tool to use when we do manage to get ourselves into a situation that we need to get out of. It works if one is being peer pressured into alcohol or tobacco, but it also works if one is being bullied. It helps you make the decision of how to get away from the bully. I'm glad I learned the D.A.R.E decision-making model for if I ever get into one of these situations. We must be ready to use these steps in startling situations. One example of these situations is if I am peer pressured into trying alcohol, I should define that I am being offered a dangerous drink, assess the options of yes or no, respond that I don't want any, and evaluate that I made the right decision. When put in this situation, one should use these steps before just giving in. Another example of this is, if my cousin is doing tobacco, I should define that my cousin is using an addictive substance, assess if I should tell or not, respond by telling one of our family members, and evaluate that I made the right decision. Instead of just letting a minor do tobacco, one should use these steps to get them help. My next example is, if I am being bullied, I should define that I am being picked on, assess my options, respond with a decision of telling an adult, and evaluate that I made the right decision. When in this situation, one should use the model instead of letting others get the best of them. The D.A.R.E decision-making model is a great way to get out of threatening situations. I now know to make positive choices in my life instead of risky ones. I know I can always tell an adult to get out of dangerous situations. I enjoyed D.A.R.E class as well as learning many important life lessons. If it weren't for Officer Doug in the Miamisburg Police Department, I would not know how to deal with peer pressure. Thank you.
Next, we have Braden Montgomery.
D.A.R.E stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education. Drugs are bad items that are sometimes man-made. Abuse is where someone takes too many of a drug. Resistance is avoiding drugs. Education is where I learn about the consequences of using drugs. Peer pressure, meth, and alcohol and tobacco are all items that D.A.R.E helps kids try to stay away from. Peer pressure is difficult to avoid sometimes, but peer pressure can also be good. Here are a few ways to avoid peer pressure. First, I can just walk away. Second, say no and give a reason or example. Third, say I have to go home. Meth is a terrible drug to use. Officer Doug showed me photos of meth addicts, which I would not recommend. Somebody must be a nincompoop to use meth. Tobacco and alcohol can lead to many different consequences. Just some of them are memory loss, loss of self-control, and it interferes with the way the brain works. There are many steps to use the D.A.R.E decision-making model. First, I would define what the problem is. Second, I would assess what the choices are. Next, I would respond to the asker and give facts or reasons why I chose that answer. Last, I would evaluate my choice. Did I make a good choice? I can use the D.A.R.E decision-making model at many different times in my life. One example is if someone offers me to smoke, drink, or use drugs. I could use the D.A.R.E decision-making model at that time because I would have to choose if I would smoke, drink, or use drugs, which I would never do. Another example is if I see someone being bullied, I have to remember the who, what, when, where, and why. Thank you, Miamisburg, for supporting D.A.R.E for us 5th graders, because I know not everyone gets there. This was a big help because of the different drugs I learned to avoid, to use the D.A.R.E decision-making model, and how to take care of peer pressure. Now I will not use drugs, alcohol, or tobacco in my lifetime.
Next, we have North Solomon.
This year in D.A.R.E, I have learned that it'll help students make the correct choices. I now know what to do in a tough situation. D.A.R.E stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education. The 3 major lessons that I love to learn about the most are about different types of drugs, about alcohol, medicine, and nicotine. I learned that meth is a very powerful drug. Meth makes people look very different in a bad way. By only using meth once, most people become automatically addicted to it. Nicotine is a powerful substance in all cigarettes. The addiction in cigarettes is caused by nicotine. There will never be any type of cigarette without nicotine. Lastly, I learned that mixing alcohol with any type of medicine is extremely dangerous. It can completely mess up the person's body. If someone were to mix alcohol with medicine, it can cause internal bleeding, heart problems, loss of coordination, difficulty breathing, nausea, and many more. For these reasons, I would never want to drink alcohol, use meth, or smoke cigarettes. There are many steps for the D.A.R.E decision-making model. D.A.R.E decision-making model stands for define, assess, respond, and evaluate. The D is when I would describe the problem, challenge, or opportunity. The A is what my choices are. The R is my choice made by using the facts and information I have gathered. Lastly, the E is when I will review my decision. From D.A.R.E this year, I have learned when I would need to use the D.A.R.E decision-making model and how to use it. For example, if someone was trying to get me to use drugs, would I do it or not? I definitely wouldn't. Or say I was riding the bus and some 8th grader comes up to me and asks, "Hey, you want to help me sell alcohol?" I would have to think about my future. What would be my best choice? My choice would be for me not to do it because I want a successful life. Or if I'm offered alcohol and cigarettes. Another example is if someone is threatening me. I would tell an adult. I would have to use the D.A.R.E decision-making model to tell an adult the problem. Lastly, say I was supposed to go to my friend's birthday party, but then a day after I got invited, another girl from school asked me to go over to her house. I would stick to the party because I had already promised my friend I would be at her party. I wouldn't want to hurt her feelings, and I'd be following the BART chart. From D.A.R.E, I have learned to make positive choices by not using drugs, smoking cigarettes, or drinking alcohol. I now know about the D.A.R.E decision-making model and how to use it. I thank Officer Doug Sherritt and the police department for creating this organization to help children like me with our future.
All the students did a great job on their reports, and those are a great example of that. Last group of people I'd like to thank are the ones that make my job as a D.A.R.E officer very easy, and that's the staff here at Jane Chance, and that begins with your principal, Mr. Geyer. And your 5th grade teachers, Mrs. Gorbley, Mrs. Watercutter, and Mrs. Rowland. It's now time for you guys to receive your certificates, and we'll begin with Mrs. Gorman's class.
My class did a great job this year. They worked very hard and their essays were amazing. So congratulations. When I call their names, if you could hold your applause until the entire class has been called, that'd be great. Austin Alsbaugh. Luke Alt. McKenna Blair. Corey Brightwell. Jasleen Bucio. Carissa Kavir. Anma Dhaliwal. Isabella Dodd. Natalia Drake. Vanessa Eggers. Curtis Elking. Aaliyah Gardner. Gracie Johnson. Alyssa Leonard. Joel Ranker. Livia Runge. Heather Swanson. Matthew Thompson. And absent today is Jalen Arp. Thank you.
Next, we have Mrs. Waterco's class.
No, Connor, come up to the side. There you go. Great. Thank you. My class did fantastic. I have to say, I think they've asked more questions during D.A.R.E class than ever. Officer Doug knew he had to be on his toes when he came into my room because Officer Doug does a great job always opening up to say, does anybody have any questions for me today? And almost every class, I think he said, okay, we have to start the lesson now or we're not going to get it done because my kids were asking questions the whole time. So great job to you. All right, we're going to start off again. Hold your applause, please, with Connor Whitesell, Mara Tyson, Madeline Turpin, Brooklyn Stansberry, Stefan Sales, Kayla Nichols, Braden Montgomery, Maya McKinney, Riley Krause, Nora Kasane, Camden Harrison, Ruel Gogo, Michaela Fulham, Samuel Fershey, Fawn Eckstein, Jeffrey Dyer, Legend Culbertson, Nico Crawford, Dustin Crank, Chloe Campbell, and Olivia Anticoli.
And Mrs. Rowland's class.
All right, my class too, we learned a lot, we talked about a lot, asked a lot of good questions, and this was my first D.A.R.E class as well, so I want to thank Officer Doug. I learned some things too, it was great. And then while I actually have the podium, I just want to thank all of the fifth graders in general because I had a few wonderful special experiences. I was their kindergarten teacher, third grade teacher, and possibly fifth grade teacher as well, all three, some people. So I just wanted to say what a great time I've had with you, and I wish you well, and that you'll always be in my heart, and this is a very special class to me, so I wanted to say that as well. And to our dear graduates, Taha Al-Haddad, Jill Baker, Zoe Bowers, Carly Collins, Tia Cosby, Zach Hillhofer, Julia Kennedy, Sarah Nifley, Kennedy Landrum, Chloe Lifeheight, Darren Marlowe, Spencer Mathman, Malachi Mellon, Kaylee Moko, Chris Engo, Melanie Owen, Jarrell Smith, Lauren Smith, Ben Sprayberry, Maria Stevens, and Brooklyn Sykes.
Have a great summer.
Last thing we'll do as part of our graduation is I have a short little video to show you of classes here at Jane Chance. Thank you. All right, I appreciate everyone coming out today. I hope you had a good time. Have a great summer, be safe, and I look forward to seeing you all again next year. Thank you.